Guys, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to vlogmas. I'm recording this on December 7th and I was like wondering what I want to talk about today. So I thought of, let's speak of Taylor becoming Times Person of the Year. Let's talk about Coffee with Karan's episode which ran today, which was with Kiara and Vicky Kaushal, and I was like, yeah, I want to definitely talk about all of this, but I also wanted to point out whatever was happening in the past few months and how the millennial generation has been tackling and navigating through these times, and how the digital culture has been acting as a catalyst to a certain extent to create more awareness when it comes to Israel Palestine, when it comes to Ukraine and Russia, when it comes to writers' right, the SAG AFTRA, and all of that, which we saw, the protest we saw in Mexico, and whatever happened in India. Although I I might not speak of it in a way where I will bring politics in between, although that is a big part of it. I am not someone who is well versed when it comes to politics at all. That is not something which interests me, of course, and not something which I have a hang on at all. Um, and I want to make sure that whenever I speak about it, whenever I put anything about it, I just don't want to take sides, because that is my opinion, where I don't want to take sides of either of the parties because of some bias, and of course things happening are very harsh, and what we can do is definitely call for peace. But here, from the both the sides, which is Hamas, from they are attacking from Gaza, and Israel as well as America and all of that, I just don't want to take sides here. I just want there to be peace, is what I'm thinking of all the time, because whenever I see content creators from Israel as well as from Palestine, Gaza specifically, it feels like we are getting bombarded with lots of content and the creators from Gaza, because it's really terrifying whatever is happening over there. And I hope there is peace and there is some conclusion to it which is peaceful. But when I see Israel content creators, Israeli his point of view and what they went through and what Hamas did to them and all of that, I am not able to take sides, and on social media, when there are tons of people amplifying it, promoting the message, educating each other about the whole thing going on there, the invasion, the war, the different types of hazardous treatments to them. I i i i don't want to take sides, even though I'm from here. Even my own country is sort of abstaining from voting and all of that, and definitely it's not in our hands, but I've seen protests happening here in my country, in my own city as well, for the support of Gaza. And it feels to me, to a certain extent, a bit of dramatic, like, it's not something where a conclusion can be brought, I feel like, by the people, and internet can not help to certain extent. I feel like the men in power, the men who are running the country, the men who started it all, have the right to take the final call. And what I feel by watching this opinion can be different, but I just wanted to talk and you know just r- have this ramble, what exactly is going on in my head, even though I've been educating myself on the war and the past, the history of it. Still, still, there is this thought, even after watching all of that happening, there is this thought where I know that our amplification, our post, our thoughts cannot do much as the leaders can do. The protest and all of that is happening cannot nudge the leaders at all. You know, these are the people in the power, and if the power is against the whole Gaza Strip or the whole culture, there is not much one can do at a certain point. And now, um it is very much risky for lots of people to take calls. We have been seeing that, whoever is not supporting Israel, or whoever is not supporting Gaza, or whatever, are getting all the ramifications when it comes to their work, when it comes to their whole way of living. The people, Israeli people and US, are a bit scared about living there anywhere in the world because they just don't feel safe anywhere. So just watching it all, because I've seen lots of videos where Israeli who are putting on posters on the walls in US and all around the world, the people who are against it are just walking around and tearing it apart, and not letting their voice get heard, their way of communication get heard. Because you see, there are lots of parties, like both the parties are there, and there needs to be this communication happening from both the sides, correct? And again, when the pandemic hit, there was this online trauma everybody was going through. Like, you see it and get hit by all of that is happening and on screens. And after some point, people start neglecting it. you know the online activism cannot take a cause that far sometimes. At the beginning, the graph goes a bit up, like two up, but after some point, the activism which is online tries gets succeeded. Like, the point, the energy gets diverted to other stuff going on in other people's life. That doesn't peak, you know again, ever. It sort of succeeds, and it sort of has its own ramification on other people's life, because it is different. Of course, there is the support and empathy and all of that, but it's online. Nothing much can be done to the people. Like, if those bullets and all of that can't be dodged, if not literally paused. So that is what I think of. Like, this needs higher authority in the position to take stance and protest and activism. Online, offline cannot take it that far. This is war. This is war, and this has been started by the people on top. So yeah, so that is what is going on in this mind of mine, where uh it still feels like men in power have that control. And some that is definitely sad, where they're not calling for ceasefire, and it's still taking lives. So that's definitely bad, for sure. But a calm conclusion from both the sides, from the big power people, the nations need to get in, but they're not doing it so at all. So the common man can't do much. Do you think the protest happening in my city will move any needle for the people in the states, or the people in, is it going to change anything? I don't think so. Like, if you think practically, nothing changes like that. So there is that. The people on top, the presidents and all of that, needs to take things in hands, but they are not doing so because the story is something different. The big picture here is something different, totally, is what comes to mind. Yeah. Then talking about Taylor Swift's Time Person of the Year, like she won it. And what I feel about her is that when I saw pictures, I was really happy for her and Travis Kelsey, and it just feels amazing. Like she wrapped up the year with so graceful, graceful portrayal of her. Still she's touring, so she's like on the roll, so that's perfect. I'm really inspired by her. But after a certain point, when I read the interview, the profile of hers on Time, it felt like I've consumed too much, and I just feel like, oh, I've got, I have had too much of her, and I just want to, you know, turn the volume down. I don't want to see her much, whatever is going on in her life. Like, I just want to enjoy her music, and I don't need too much information on her all the time. I don't care. But this is her year, and she's at the peak, so definitely news will come. But um, there is this numbness of the feeling. There is this numbness of receiving any content from that person, or because of that person, media being created and the content being consumed or delivered or shown all over. I don't feel like the appetite for this content is soaring far. Like, anything in moderation is sustainable. Anything which just goes off balance sometimes sees its fall too. And that's what we have seen in this industries. And she also says that fame and all of this is just like seesaw. Success and failure is just like seesaw. And she spoke of Kardashian, Kim, she spoke of Kanye and all of that in the interview, and yeah, she's getting out of it, and she is recording Reputation Taylor's version soon. And the photo of her on the cover with her cat was adorable, but I feel like um, there are lots of people who can talk about the fact that they have seen a lot of her this year, and nobody wants to know too much about her, like who is she dating, oh, what they're doing, and all of that, and this news, that news, then this news, she's walking here, then that is news. So that is just too much to consume. Is what lots of people also think, like me. Um, yeah. So that's what I want to talk about for today, and I'll see you soon. Bye.